they miss things, so many things. They miss, in particular, traditions sometimes. Some of the rituals. I'm talking about religious rituals and social rituals here.
I just miss my family.
I always think the thing I'm supposed to miss the most, and it is true, is the people. But often when I miss anywhere, the thing that I actually miss the most is the food. And I think with Syria, it is probably both. I miss the people and I miss the food.
I miss the fact that we didn't, there weren't any shops that sold Western goods where we felt we absolutely could live another moment if we didn't have that good. We were very satisfied with what we had.
Many Syrians who live in this country, UK, or in Europe or elsewhere, they miss Syria. They miss their families left behind, their friends, their loved ones there.
When I'm not in Syria, I really miss my home, my apartment, the terrace, the flower. Yeah, I miss really my family. The maybe the love between all of us. I don't know, my mom, parents, yeah, mom, dad, a lot. I miss them. Yeah, we enjoy really every second there, and now, um, yeah, it's there is a long time not seeing. Yeah, the love. I miss the love, really.
I actually do miss the smell of the ghee, which is the samni, the animal fat that families used to cook their meals with. I miss the subir, the prickly pear that would be sold on the sides of the street. I miss Damascus of the past. I miss the past. I miss the innocence of the place.
Because, for example, in the Eid, which is the Islamic version of the Christmas, people used to wake up in the early morning. It's like maybe 5 a.m. to go to the mosque and do the Eid prayer. It will start in that early time. So they will miss all of this. They will feel here that maybe they are still safe, they are still fine, but they are missing so many parts of the rituals of celebrating Christmas or Eid, or any other social occasion that they used to celebrate back home.
And so I think that's part of what makes the question difficult to answer is that I miss those things, but I know that I don't miss them because I'm not in Syria. I miss them because since I've been gone from Syria, Syria has changed.
Memories of Syria.
And my memories there is to see a smell of fresh bread, the milkman delivering milk around the old narrow street. And you remember the fruits and vegetable stores, around there. It's all stuck in my memory till now, all my childhood around there.
My memories of Damascus, Syria, back in the early 1960s, mid 1960s, was that of a very quaint, large town that was extremely clean, very friendly, very well designed. Underpopulated, very green, in the sense that Damascus is actually an oasis created because several rivers kind of meet in this lovely place. Where it was surrounded by fruit trees such as apple trees and grapes and just it was very green. Damascus doesn't look like that anymore. But it had the smell and feel of a small town, a town that welcomed others, and it was full of jasmine walks where you could walk and kick around little jasmine flowers as you made your way down the streets. It was a lovely, sunny, and very welcoming place. Very welcoming place.
Brought back so many memories of walking around the different streets of Damascus at night, and the parks and the little shops and the the ice cream or the coffee shops that we would stop at while going for walks. And sometimes I would walk for hours on end around Damascus. It was just a really perfect weather, perfect environment, very safe at the time. So I miss being able to do that.
Well, I was born and raised in Damascus, so I have a lot of memory in Syria, especially like the street life that you get in the old city, full of people hanging out in restaurants and cafes.
I have worked there in old Damascus. We go also out cafes that like old houses that has been restored into restaurants and cafes, and people are smoking shisha in the courtyard, and the stone, the style of the building, and there's always a tree in the courtyard and a fountain of water, and all these sounds and scents and memories means home to me, means Damascus, means Syria, and means family.
We would visit a Bedouin family often during the day, and then in the evening we would just go out ourselves as a group into the desert and sing together under the wide open sky. And so I think a lot of the memories that I have, that I really miss about Syria, are those moments which I know that even if I were to go back today, I wouldn't be able to recapture.
There is indeed a lot in Syria worth remembering. Most importantly, the kindness of the people and the generosity of the Syrian people.
I don't know if every family, but in my family, we've never discussed religion. Never asked any of my friends what's their religion or what's their sect or anything like that. Also in Barcelona, we were in the same street. We were like Jewish, Christian, Muslim, all lived together. And I think all over Damascus it was like that.
Absolutely. There was the Christmas celebrated by the Christians, and there was also the Christmas celebrated by the Muslims, which we were. And we celebrated Christmas. My mother would drive to Beirut, buy all our Christmas presents from Beirut, and bring us back some Christmas pudding and maybe newer decorations for our Christmas tree. She would bring all these goodies back from Beirut, including, the biscuits and the sweets and whatever presents she wanted to put under the tree. And we would actually sit around the table and sing Christmas carols as a Muslim family.
And we used to celebrate, like Muslim and Christian, celebrate Christmas together. It was absolutely, never feel like there's difference between us. We used to celebrate Christmas together, and the street will be decorated. We have a Christmas tree. It was so lovely. It was absolutely so lovely that time.
This is very important for me. Back home, we just sit outside and look at the sky, and you can see the stars, and even dream
what life in Syria is like now.
I mean, this is really sad. It's been maybe months. I get the chance to see my daughter. First, she wasn't in Paris. She was in Chicago. and then she went back to Paris. And because of the corona, I mean, going to Paris, I'm not going now because I'm staying with my parents. Actually, my mother was a little bit sick, so it wasn't really the time to go. But yes, I mean, she's away. She's in Paris. She's gonna spend, unfortunately, the Christmas with her friend, but not with her family, because last night she was in Chicago with my sister and her children. So this time, yes, maybe this is the first time that we are not together in Christmas time. Yes, this is the first. This is the first time. Yeah, it's sad. I think we avoid talking about it. And actually, I'm not sure if I'm going to stay until Christmas in Damascus, but I don't see that there's going to be a family gathering this year.
We are in a very special time now with COVID and the lockdowns. It's something new. We don't have experience about that, but still we are not under the threat of menacing, menacing threat that will kill you in any time, and you may don't know it. People there in Syria, they had to be isolated while they didn't have food, they didn't have electricity, they didn't have drinking water, they didn't have any internet to call each other to find some solace or anything. Sometimes they didn't have time to bury their loved ones. They didn't have time to cry over them. They didn't have time, just to guarantee that they are safe and their children are safe.
2 days ago, I was in the Christian Kachi and I saw there wasn't really much light for the Christmas. No, no, I don't see that the city is really celebrating. No. There's no electricity.
Yeah, well, I mean, of course, I feel very guilty not living in Syria. I feel privileged in many ways that at least I am safe from a situation of war. I feel guilty that I am not there when I should be there and doing more for the country. I feel sad every time I go. I there are parts of the city and parts of the culture and parts of the exchanges I have with people that I do not recognize. It is different.
At least a photo for the whole kids, wearing their best suits, and they are really happy, enjoying something, maybe playing or going to the market or doing any activity that they are enjoying. So this is a way of adapting, and of course, my father in the early morning of every Eid or in every our version of Christmas, every morning he will every time, I mean, he will call in the early morning and he will check if I am celebrating, if I'm at work or no, I am having holiday. He will ask me if I went to the Eid prayer, and I lie to him. I always tell him that okay, yes, I went, although I was asleep maybe, and I try to make him feel that yeah, everything is going this as it used to be, although it's not, unfortunately.
So starting to dream about the possibility of going back for a visit has gotten me thinking about what life in Syria is like now. And I think I think that, part of me is very, very sad because I know, because of having worked for in the charity sector for so long, I know that when something goes wrong, you don't rebuild it in 2 minutes. The damage that's been done in the last decade is going to take probably generations to restore.
I am no more just a Syrian and I'm not a British person. So it's a hybrid identity. I don't know where to call home anymore. I don't know who I am, which will I be able to go back and live in Syria as I am now, or will I ever be able to feel, that this is my country, this is my home, and I belong here also.
Most of the people who left Syria and live in the UK or elsewhere, they have been able to remarkably integrate and build life, a wonderful life for themselves. Some of them went to school again. Some of them went to universities and acquired degrees, and some opened companies, businesses. In many ways, in many fields, we see Syrians proving to be intelligent, hardworking, and able to adapt and able to integrate and respect the country that they are in.
I realize that I love my country because there's a problem in my country. If I was a Parisian or a Londoner, I would never ask myself if I love Paris or London. Well, I lived in two cities and I have a French passport. But as there's a lot of problems in this place, I realize that I love it the most.
You know, just talking to them over Skype and hearing the sound of the cars and the mosque call to prayer in the background, you know, you can kind of feel that Damascus is still there.
Hope is something essential in life.
The first thing that I want is for everybody to be able to just get on with their lives, for Syria to be able to go back to being a place where people do have their lives, have their families, have their jobs, have their sense of stability. And you know, I'm encouraged to know that there are some places that life has gone on relatively unchanged and life can continue, but I want that for the entire country.
Of course, Syria, as we call it, the cradle of civilization. It is indeed the cradle of civilization. It has a diversity that we should all Syrians be proud of. The diversity that probably we would not find in the whole world.
I when I lived with families, the families that I lived with, they were Muslim and I'm Christian, and they loved it, and I loved them, and they bragged so much about, oh, we have these Christian neighbors, and we're really good friends with them, and we visit them on Christmas, and they come and visit us on the Eids, and that sense of, you know, we're not all the same, but we really respect and appreciate one another, even if we're different. That was such a core part of my experience of Syria, and so I want that to come back. I want people to acknowledge that, yeah, maybe things have been really difficult, and not really difficult. That's an understatement. It's been a nightmare of a decade, but that core of respect and appreciation for people who are different, and that hope that we can be friends anyway, and that if we feel peace with our neighbor, then that makes it easier for us to just get on with our lives.
One of the things that have always given me hope about Syria is that the Syrian people themselves are extremely entrepreneurial, extremely innovative, extremely hard working. Um, they look for opportunities, find opportunities, and use those opportunities to better themselves. I really do think that this type of resilience, if you wish, or this type of the capacity of the people, I think brings in a great deal of hope to the future of the country. If you look at the Syrian woman today, whether she is a refugee or whether she is um, a a uh, uh, or whether she's a refugee or whether she is a woman who now leads the family because the men have died, or the men have left, or the men have deserted them. In all cases, I think the Syrian woman has risen up to the occasion in all fields of life and have taken upon themselves the responsibility to ensure that the family is well taken care of, that their children are well taken care of, often at a very high expense that they have had to, at a cost that they have had to pay.
I think life has taught me to be brave and to speak out for myself, especially a woman from the Middle East, where kind of we are not given our rights or our space, and men try to suppress us and put us in the corner and just maybe confine us to just home work and bringing up children. While I studied, I am educated, and I love to be, productive in life. So I learned to speak up for myself, and you should speak up too. Never stay silent. If you have an opinion, say it out loud and fight for your rights and for being equal.
So my hope that the country will have the chance again, and so the children can go to school, can have a normal life, can having this ABC of a daily life, just like electricity and water and food and food. So it's the ABC of a decent life. People here in Syria do not have it. I hope that Syria will have again the chance to be just normal, just like any other country.
Hope is something essential in life. And life without hope is a miserable life. We need to hang on to that hope that the future is better.
What do you think? Do you want to come with me to Syria?